Welcome back to the Big Weekend Show. We're just days away from the first GOP primary, and Vivek Ramaswamy is making sure voters know he wants to be the commander-in-chief. Here he is on Cavuto Live earlier today.
I've been very clear. I'm not interested in a different position in the government. Frankly, I'd drive change through the private sector sooner than becoming a number 2 or a number 3 in the federal government.
Really?
That's not about ego. That's about the fact of how I can drive.
That's a heartbeat away from the presidency. Are you saying that you would turn it down if offered to you?
I am. And the reason why, Neil, is that if this were about my quest for personal power, sure, that makes sense. But that's not what this is about. This is about reviving our missing national identity, reaching the next generation of Americans who are badly disaffected from politics.
Okay, so meanwhile, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis seems to have a new strategy to get elected president: go after Trump's supporters.
We have a strand in our party that views supporting Trump as whether you are a rhino or not. And so you could be the most conservative person since sliced bread. Unless you're kissing his rear end, they will somehow call you a rhino. So you're not rooted in principle. If all we are is listless vessels that's just supposed to follow, whatever happens to come down the pike on Truth Social every morning, that's not going to be a durable movement.
Okay, so Charlie, I've covered a lot of Trump rallies. I've talked to a lot of their supporters, and I can tell you right now, I'm calling it listless vessels is going to be on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And if it's not already on one right now, what's the thinking?
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. No, it's a terrible strategy. And it's so frustrating because Ron DeSantis has such a tremendous record to run on. There's so much promise for him, but he is really failing. Like we have seen few politicians with so much going in their direction fail as badly as he is failing. He's not very good at politics, it's appearing. And the biggest tell is when you go after the voters that you're supposed to win over and you attack them and you mock them. We've seen Hillary Clinton tried it with the basket of deplorables, as you pointed out. And it didn't work for her. And so he's coming up, not only is he coming up with something, I don't even know what a listless vessel is, except that it's insulting. And the suggestion is that these people are not only all the things that Hillary Clinton thought they were, but they're also stupid and they're getting snookered. Trump voters are very, very wise to that. And he's doing himself serious damage that is going to carry with him not only through this primary, but it's going to hurt him 4 years from now.
Well, and for sure, Governor DeSantis probably never thought that he would be compared to Hillary Clinton. Yeah. Let's go to a flashback.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
Empty vessels.
So, Tomi, is this a fair comparison?
So I don't think it's a fair comparison to compare anybody to Hillary Clinton. I consider her to be the fourth Sanderson sister, so I think that we just leave it to Halloween when we make comparisons to Hillary. But moving forward on this DeSantis comment, it was not a good comment to make, and I'm sure he is kicking himself, and I'm sure he wishes he could rephrase it. Now, what I heard him say is maybe a kernel of the truth, and I'll tell you what I believe he was trying to get across, and he failed at it. I think what he was trying to say is this: I am not a rhino simply because I am running against Donald Trump. I think that's what he wanted to say, and I think further what he wanted to say, where he messed up horribly with the listless vessels comment, and it rings like a deplorable, is what he should have said is, listen, I understand that you follow Trump because you love him and you love his policies and you see what's going on with him and you see the indictments and the sham and the witch hunt. However, we need to look beyond that and just what we're talking about with all of the circus of chaos and indictments, and understand that we as a movement have to be durable. We have to live beyond Donald Trump, and we have to have the America First policies be our bedrock. Now, that's what he should have said. Unfortunately, he did not say it that way, and it's going to hurt him. It's going to bruise him badly. But he has had to walk landmines. He is the only Trump competitor, maybe outside of Mike Pence a little bit, who has had to navigate the MAGA supporter. Because Trump does not attack any of his other competitors the way he attacks Ron DeSantis. Vivek will go on and he will take shots at Trump, but Trump will never take a shot at him because he doesn't see him as a threat. What the Trump campaign did masterfully before DeSantis even announced was labeled him a disloyal Benedict Arnold rhino out the gate, and he's been unable to
I know,
escape
but the
that.
fact is, when you're 40% down on the other guy's movement, you need chunks of that movement to be competitive and to win.
Right.
By alienating them this way, basically what Ron DeSantis has done here, and Charlie, you're right, incredible record, incredible family, a smart guy. Let's say that as a precursor. But to consign yourself to Chris Christieville this early in the race, I think is a very bad move. It looks to me like it was an unforced error. He'll probably have to walk it back. But clearly, this is bad.
And to Tommy's point, it's a near impossible task to walk that balance, trying to say that you're the better candidate without insulting the people who are.
Vivek Ramaswamy's doing a good job.
Yeah,
of
and
it.
let's take a look at. He's actually come up with these 10 commandments for his campaign that he put out on Twitter or X, and those are. They begin with there are 2 genders. 3, human flourishing requires fossil fuels. An open border is no border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind. Charlie, you think folks are paying attention to these 10 commandments?
So this declaration of facts, as I call them, I think that, what's really sort of interesting about them is if the founders were around today, they'd be like, really? We needed to write this down? I didn't know that we had to establish all this. It's all a given. But going, and by the way, one of the things that Vivek Ramaswamy is doing so brilliantly, and I get it, he does have a slightly different dynamic with his relationship with Trump, but he has done such a good job of running a very promising, visionary campaign where he's presenting something, which is always a winning strategy. The problem for DeSantis is when you get stuck talking tactics about, well, there are these different batches of voters, a politician always loses when he starts doing that.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what happens at the debate on Wednesday. And you can watch the first Republican primary debate on Fox News, as I mentioned, on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.